Hello, I'm Azai. Welcome back to Tokyo Necro. Last time we actually went to the fortress with Iria. Mitsumi got caught and she's being given an aphrodisiac and electric signal drugs or whatever. Hopefully we do save her. If not, well, at the very least I just hope she doesn't die. Etika is trying to get to where Mitsumi is and hopefully saves her, while Iria is remembering what the hell is going on while being in the fortress here. Surprisingly though, we still haven't seen Soria Yuka. But yeah, I think that was it about what happened on the last episode. That's what I noticed in this route, right? Like I said on the previous episode, the story itself, there's actually not much going on. While on the other route, it feels like everything is going at a very fast pace. This is very slow in comparison. But alright, let's continue on. The pumpkin carriage advances into the castle. We enter the underground dungeon. Security robots stand lined up on either side, and we pass by a number of cells with transparent glass walls. Their interior resemble that of a medieval torture chamber. Inside each cell, we see people conducting assorted types of perverted sexual acts. The things we saw on the first floor don't hold a candle to this. For example, one cell has a woman bound in a chair. They say woman, but you know, those are sexoroids. There's a small stove set up in the room, and a middle-aged man dressed in nothing but an apron is cooking something. He's frying centipedes and camel crickets over a frying pan. Camel crickets? Those are a thing? Next to the man is a large assortment of ingredients waiting to be prepared. Rhinoceros beetles, moth larvae, slugs, Joro spiders, cockroaches. He's just about done with the current batch. The camel cricket's husks are nice and charred, and the centipedes have folded their legs in and curled up. The man sprinkles some spices on the roasted insects and shovels them into the woman's mouth, which is forced open with a mouth prop. I mean, I don't know if you can call that disgusting. Like, insects in some parts of Southeast Asia are actually a delicacy, you know? I personally haven't really eaten insects, but I could probably see myself eating crickets. Though I don't know about cockroaches and everything else. The woman screams as hard as she can, resisting the meal that's forced down her throat. Seeing this, the man's erect penis starts dripping with pre-cum. He continues cramming fried centipedes into her mouth. There's actually a centipede thing under Sprite, by the way. That's pretty interesting. The mouth prop has small handles, which when rotated, force the torture victim to bite down and chew. The woman is forced to chew on the centipedes against her will. Some of the insects spill out of her mouth, but the man scoops them up with a spoon and forces them back down her throat. Oh, sorry about that. Was replying to a message. The woman suffocates on her own vomit, mixed with insect fragments. Wait, so are these actually real human? I thought these are sexoroids. What the fuck?
昆虫は高タンパク低脂肪で、餌の 40% が肉体に変換することから、エネルギー効率が黙ってろ。
ほう、怒っているのかね。虐待されているのはセクサロイドだというの。
Amachi asks, as if gauging my response. Yeah, see? She is a sexoroid. How the hell does she vomit, though?
人間そっくりの形、人間そっくりの振る舞い。
Okay, I guess they're just acting.
成分まで緻密に調合されている。しかしそれは所詮プログラムされたものに過ぎない。彼女に真の意味での感情はないのだよ。
Shut the hell up, you geezer. I ignore Amachi. But even if I look away, my gaze only falls on the other cells, where other acts of inhuman cruelty are being conducted. You okay? One cell has a sextoid hanging from a noose, her body convulsing. The naked woman struggles to remove the noose around her neck as she urinates all over herself. An old man stands in front of her, rubbing his penis furiously as he looks at her with bloodshot eyes. Another room has a young, muscular man having his way with several dozen women in turn. All of these women are visibly elderly, bony and decrepit, with sagging skin. You know, I wonder why there's no, male sexoroids. Why are they mostly female? Are they trying to say that males are the most degenerate kind of... males are more degenerate than women? Any one of them could pass for this man's grandmother. They crawl on all fours as the man pounds them from behind. Another room has a man torturing a sexoroid. He cuts her open and coils her intestines around his arm as she screams, "What the fuck?" Some people have weird tastes, man. He thrusts his erect cock into her open chest cavity and ejaculates all over her pulsating bloody heart. These people need Jesus. And then the next room. A slender sexoroid is bound to a chair. She cowers, weeps, and shakes pathetically. Her jaw is forced open with a mouth prop. A man slowly peers into her face.
彼は普段銃器開発販売会社の社長をやっている。妻も子供もいる。だが彼は普通のセックスではどうしても物足りなかった。仮想環境でもいろいろ試したが何かが違う。どんなにリアルでも夢は夢でしかない。そこでこの城の門を叩いた。
An assortment of toys is lined up on a shelf behind a man. A small drill, a hammer and chisel, bottles filled with hazardous substances. The woman struggles for dear life and tries to free herself, but the restraints don't so much as budge. The man places the chisel over the root of her front teeth and pounds it in with a hammer. Her front teeth are crushed, but apparently he struck the hammer too hard because blood starts to spill freely from her mouth.
その男は女性の歯に性的興奮を覚えた。歯そのものに興奮した。歯にフェティシズムがあり、同時にサディストでもある。愛する者を傷つけて楽しむタイプだ。
I guess some people just have weird kinks, man.
私のセクサロイドの見た目は本物と変わりない。痛めつけた後の反応も本物以上と言ってもいい。本当に人間の女性なのではないかという不安を覚えるほどだ。そう彼は言っていたよ。
Perhaps coming to the conclusion that it's too awkward to use, the man throws away the chisel. Instead, he picks up the small drill and begins drilling holes into her teeth. The woman's limbs thrash, but the restraints simply dig into her flesh. He then takes up a bottle full of solution. The moment he places it inside her mouth, the woman's body jerks so hard it almost breaks the chair. Apparently, he smeared some kind of drug directly over her tooth nerves. I guess these are robots to some degree, so... Technically speaking, from a pragmatic point of view, we don't really care about it, right? I'm not really feeling too much about the androids. I'm more so thinking about how fucked up these people who buy these androids are. I'm like, what the fuck? These guys have some weird kinks. As the woman's body rampages like an injured animal, the man watches on with a smile. He plops her crushed teeth into his mouth and sucks on them like candy. He then takes his raging erect penis and begins raping the woman. even as the pain of her broken teeth agonizes her. What should I do with the next girl's teeth? I can almost hear his voice. I can't restrain myself any longer.
おい時高
Tokitaka turns to me wearing a frustrated expression. It's too soon. That's what his eyes are trying to tell me. I know damn well it's too soon. But I can't stand to look at this for even a second longer. The reason we came here to begin with was...
おいアマチ義城三見は知ってるか
義女ああ、あの気高い小娘か。
知ってるんだな
知っているも何も、つい先ほど私の城に乗り込んできたばかりだ。仕方ないからお仕置きをしているところだよ。
The carriage stops and the security robots prompt us to get off. Just ahead of us is another room. Unlike the others, its glass is white and clouded over.
お仕置きだと
Is this where I'm gonna have to plug the Patreon?
私もちょうど彼女のような被験体を探していたところでね。
Patreon.com says Azaikyousuke.
ブローカーに話をしたら簡単に連れてきてくれた。
Specimen. Broker. Mitsumin was brought here as a specimen for Amachi's research? It takes everything I have to stop my emotions from getting the better of me as I wait for Amachi to finish speaking.
私もそろそろ向こうの相手をしなければならない時間だ。
I feel like this is part of the common route if we have, you know, Ethica live. Because if you notice, there was a common route too, right? When Son was dead. Because this doesn't make sense that Ethica is very much seething with rage. Because the last event we saw with Ethica, she didn't feel much of anything, right?
相手は任せたよ、オルガ君。
That's why I feel like this is some sort of... It's clearly, you know, like there's some sort of weird stuff here that doesn't make, that doesn't... What's the word I'm looking for? That's not congruent? I know there's something, there's another word for it. With those words, the glass in front of us clears up. And locked up in the cell, I'm probably gonna have to censor this for YouTube, is Mitsumi, reduced to a shadow of her former self. Okay, maybe not yet. The door opens and two figures step into the room.
おかえりイリア君。
The master of this castle, Amachi Juichiro, and...
おかえりなさいイリアさん
A woman stands behind him like an attendant. Iria speaks her name through quivering lips.
それあゆか
Sorry, Ayuka. Subcon mentioning that name is what triggered Iria's memories to return, and what brought us here. As the tone graph shines, Iria moans painfully and falls to the ground.
Iria! Iria!
I grab Iria and call out to her.
焦らなくてもいい。そっとしておいてあげなさい。
Juichiro's tone is cold and indifferent. He looks at her with eyes of a researcher observing a laboratory animal.
人為的な逆行性健忘が回復する時の一般的な症状だ。ストレス性の気絶だろう。次に目を覚ました時、彼女は記憶を取り戻している。
I ignore him and take Iria's hand, using the country's physical monitoring function to check on her. Her cerebral blood flow has diminished and her pulse is a bit unsteady, but it doesn't look like anything too serious. The results of the diagnosis are that she fainted as a result of vasophagal syncope, a reaction to being unable to withstand stress. In other words, it's exactly what Amachi said. Oh, give me a sec here. I gotta respond to a message again. Okay, there we go. I placed Iri on the bed.
お前は崩御イリアに何をした？なぜこんな場所に閉じ込めたんだ？お前たちは何者だ？
君は何か勘違いしているようだ。質問をするのは私の方だ。私は崩御イリアという宝を奪われたのだ。一度盗まれた以上、宝を取り戻すだけでは済まないのだよ。私は天地十一郎として歯向かう者にはきちんと落とし前をつけさせねばならない。さあ教えてくれ。この事件の黒幕は一体誰だ？
This guy actually doesn't know about Tang Yunshan, surprisingly. This rapacious old man seems to believe we'll just do as he says. I don't like that. But the fact he hasn't traced this back to the suicide wannabes is something I can use to my advantage.
情報はただじゃない。僕は黒幕の尻尾を掴んでいる。一方、あなたはイリアの過去を知っている。交換材料としては悪くないと思うけれど、どうだろう。
どうやら自分の立場が分かっていないようだ。ザ・フォートレスの地下はヒューマノイドオペレーティングマシンの工場だ。私がそれで財を成したことくらいは知っているだろう。逆らったところで君に勝ち目がない。
紳士的に振る舞うんじゃなかったのか。
武力は匂わせるだけで行使はしない。それが紳士的なやり方だ。そもそもイリア君の記憶が戻ればすぐに黒幕の正体はわかる。私が君の言葉を待つ必要はないのだよ。
I turn back to look at Iria's sleeping face and try to calm myself. If Amachi is right and she's about to regain her memories, then the most pressing issue right now is escaping this place safely. But before all that, there's one more thing I have to do.
義城三海は知っているか？
彼女がそんなに重要か？
知っているのか？
今君の仲間に尋ねられたばかりだよ。
There's a hint of elation in his eyes.
今頃はオルガ君にたっぷりデータを取られているだろう。
データ？
そう。彼女は我々にとってとても貴重なサンプルだ。あのような性格の被験体はなかなか見つからないからね。
Specimens.
三海はどこにいる？
I ask, doing everything I can to suppress the anger rising inside me.
反抗的な目だ。まさか私の城で私に逆らおうとでも言うのかね。
You don't get it. It doesn't matter who this castle belongs to. I'll make anyone who hurts Gijo Mitsumi pay.
来なさい。ネックハンギング。
A grotesque soldier with 8 arms appears in the room. Shotguns, assault rifles, machine pistols. He holds different firearms in each hand, pointed in every possible direction. His body conveys a clear, simple message. By contrast, I don't have my guns or my X-Brain with me. But the anger that overcomes me completely consumes my fear of death. I glare at Amachi, quietly but fiercely. Amachi sneers back at me. A moment of silence hangs between us, and then...
殺しなさい。
Nick Hanger steps forward. Without warning, all his arms squeeze their triggers concurrently. There's not even time to scream. The bullets crush the skull of their target, spraying bone fragments, blood, and gray matter all over the room. But who's the target?
Mitsumi!
Yeah, Mitsumi is gonna be fucked, isn't she? I can probably still show this, but not for long, I feel. I see Mitsumi lying bound in the bed in the center of the room. An electrode pad is stuck to her head. Despite not being exposed to any physical stimuli, her body bounces and crashes. As she convulses time and again, sticky fluid seeps from the crotch of her reinforced bodysuit and stains the stone table. Jesus, you good? Mitsumin's voice grows steadily in pitch. I feel all the blood go to my head. My fist slams against the glass separating it, but it doesn't so much as crack it. Mitsumin herself seems totally unaware that I'm calling out to her. The security robots behind me train their assault rifles on me. To hell with them though.
おい三つみに一体何を。何もしてないわよ。
The door to the torture chamber opens. A familiar blonde woman steps out from within.
いや、入れてくださいってお願いできるようになったら解放してあげようと思ったのよ。でも、まさかこんなになるまで我慢できるなんてね。
Mitsumin's gaze is completely blank. It doesn't look like she even acknowledges our presence. I can't even imagine the mental torment she's being put through right now.
すごい精神力よね、この子。この電気信号ドラッグも違法中の違法品。普通ならとっくに配信よ。なんとかして彼女の心を折ってあげたいんだけど。ミツミンがそんな簡単に折れるかよ。
Olga simply smirks.
そういえば彼女、ずっとソウンって名前を呼んでたわね。
I feel a dull pain in my chest. The name that kept Mitsumin anchored to this world. The name that gave her the strength to keep fighting.
あなたの相棒の名前でしょ。長岡ソウン。そのソウン君が死んだら彼女はどうなるのかしら。お前、どうしてその名前を。
Olga called Soen by his full name and knows he's my partner.
一体何者だ。そうね。あの日は何も言わずに別れたんだっけ。
Olga brushes her hair to the side, emerald eyes shining.
あなた、私と体の相性が抜群だったから教えてあげる。私はいわゆる人身売買の闇ブローカー。クライアントから注文された通りの人間を連れてくるのが仕事。そういうことになってる。
Sexroids are designed to imitate real humans. It comes as no surprise that Amachi Juichiro would use living human beings as disposable specimens for his research.
でも、それは世を忍ぶ仮の姿。
Is she gonna reveal herself?
なんだって。私の名前はロールシャッハ。
Oh, she did. Okay. The only like route that we don't know about this was actually the first route I got.
ラボラトリーの一人よ。ミルグラムの仲間。そう。ここに来たのは。
I guess she heard Milgrim's name. Mitsumin rises to her feet, breaking through her restraints with sheer force.
驚いたわね。普通引きちぎれるはずないんだけど。貴様、ミルグラム仲間か。パブロフの言った通り、あなたは大した被験者ね。
Olga's Rorschach's eyes warp, taking on a devilish glint. Okay, I'm not gonna say that name again. I'm gonna keep sticking with Olga. Mitsumin still has stun cuffs around her arms and legs. And the color she's wearing has explosives set in it. If Olga feels like it, she can render Mitsumin immobile at any time. Instead though...
だったら、とことん楽しませてもらおうかしら。
Olga performs a multi-flick and Mitsumin's collar and cuffs come undone. She wants a fair fight then, if you can call it that. My plea falls on deaf ears. The battle has already begun. As the Atai school concerns itself primarily with real combat scenarios, One of its principal objectives is empowering its practitioners to overcome foes when unarmed. In normal circumstances, Mitsumin would have no trouble dominating her opponent even without her katana. But this isn't real combat. This is a game. Mitsumin throws punches and kicks, but none of her attacks hit their mark. On top of being exhausted, the aphrodisiac is still affecting Mitsumin. Her warrior's intuition is dulled.
ほらほら、どうしたの？
By contrast, Olga's counterattacks are on point. Each and every one of her strikes plows into Mitsumin's vitals. My instincts were right again, unfortunately. This is just a game for Olga. Mitsumin can do a little more than try to defend herself. She has no way of effectively dealing any damage. This might sound weird, but after spending an entire night in bed with her, I have a good handle on just how strong Olga really is. No matter how much hatred Mitsumin harbors or what power she might miraculously conjure up, it won't change the way this ends. Those are the facts. And aren't you gonna help? Hello? What the fuck are you guys doing? Olga launches a Brazilian kick that hits Mitsumin square in the head. Mitsumin's body lurches forward and topples to the floor. She lies face down against the floor, silent and staring.
だいぶおとなしくなったじゃない。でもね、毎回こうやって抵抗されると困っちゃうわね。
Olga holds up something I recognize.
てめえ、おいこれやめろ!
How would she recognize this though? Olga pays me no heed. The recording of the vice governor being tortured flashes through my head. They use a karambit knife to cauterize his wounds and prevent him from bleeding to death. All right, I actually forgot about that. The man in the recording said that a comrade lent it to him.
きれいな手足、切ってあげるからね。
Get angry. That's what I have to do. Anger is what drives me. Anger is what spurs my body into action.
分かってる。
After we get off the carriage, we're surrounded by security robots with their guns fixed on us. Sorry about that. I had to get some food downstairs. I was ordering food for my dad. But we are back. Unlike human opponents, machines don't show careless openings. Well, I say sorry about that, but you guys probably did not even see the transition. Probably the music change would probably tell you guys that I paused the recording though. Unlike human opponents, machines don't show careless openings. Disarming them is incredibly difficult.
失敗の確率は少なめに見積もって6割5分。やるか?
I'm guessing that if Olga, or not Olga, Etika was still a human here, we actually might be able to save Mitsumin, but I'm guessing we don't save her here, but we'll see. I know that this isn't a smart idea, but I can't just sit by and let this happen. I take a quick breath, catching a whiff of what feels like Kiri's scent. Even if it's just me imagining things, it'll do as encouragement. Stealing my resolve, I move to steal one of the security robot's guns. As Amachi and I glare at each other, the 8-armed soldier fires a volley of bullets. The thunderous roar of gunfire booms through the room as fragments of dead flesh splatter in every direction. Amachi Juichiro is shot through the head, leaving Nagaoka Son standing. It's clearly a fatal wound. The fortress's master has breathed his last. Am I safe? No, I'm not safe. The next moment, the muzzles turn to me. Iria jumps out in front of me. There's no time to cover her. Gunfire rings out. The bullets pierce the ceiling, far above our heads.
逃げなさい。あや
Saria Yuka's voice calls out as the smart material beneath our legs surges up and coils around Neck Hanger's 8 arms, rendering them immobile. She saved us?
早く逃げて。でも
Iria tries to argue, but a roar of gunfire drowns her voice out. Neck Hanger tears off the smart material restraints and shoots Saria Yuka through the head. Mechanical parts burst forth from her skull, proof that she is a machine. Her arms fall limply to her sides, knocking a flavor capsule off the dresser beside her. The aroma of lotuses wafts through the air. Iria gazes wide-eyed in shock.
行くぞ。
I forcibly pull her along and hurry to the window. Saria Yuka is someone very dear to her indeed, but we don't have the time to let that emotion overwhelm us. I jump out onto the balcony, escaping these 8 arms. These 8 arms takes priority. I guess Saria Yuka saved us even when... The stars in the sky are fake, but they're still enough to take my breath away. Given the height, jumping down with Iria in my arms would be impossible. Running along the rooftop is an option, but the angle is steeper than I anticipated. I don't know if I'll be able to make it with Iria in tow. Which one do I choose? If I had my X-Brain, it could pick the most probable answer for me, but I don't. I have to protect Iria with nothing but my own wits. And if I want to protect her, I need to make a decision. Now. I pull Iria by the arm and jump from the balcony to the rooftop. Cold wind whips against my skin. The fortress is outfitted with pipes, but their heat doesn't reach this altitude. I take stock of the surroundings as I dash up the steep slope of the roof. The castle in the center of the fortress is a collection of precipitous spires. That's a very difficult, word to say. There are a number of rooftops at different heights. For now, we need to get to ground level. Gunshots gouge into the roof beneath us, flicking fragments of smart material into the air. I swerve over to the other side of the spire, pulling Iria by the arm. Do they not care that if Iria is dead in this route? The gunshots don't stop. Right behind us, I can hear the stone wall gradually crumbling.
大丈夫。落ち着いて。
This castle is made of smart material, so any damage to the building will be repaired. Our footing isn't going to collapse. The only thing we need to worry about is shots that manage to penetrate their way through cover. Let's take a step back. There should be any number of ways to corner us at this distance. They had a clear shot at my abdomen just now, but our 8-armed pursuer chose instead to aim for my feet.
イリア。
Iria is overcome by panic, unable to keep up with the situation. I wrap my arms around her.
悪いけど、君を抱えて走る。いいね。
She gazes up into my eyes and nods.
そうとなら怖くない。
Don't worry, I'll protect you, no matter what. Going directly down is too dangerous, so first we'll have to go up. Holding Iria in my arms, I jog up the steep incline. Yeah, that's super steep, holy shit, normal humans wouldn't be able to do this shit. The line of the fire chases after us, tearing into the rooftop beneath our feet. I feel a bullet skim past my back. Death's claws swipe at us, missing by mere millimeters. If we fall off here, it's over. I focus on maintaining my balance above all else, even as my feet seem to slip out from under me. I leap into the balcony above us and finally get a chance to catch my breath.
大丈夫？どこにも。
当たってない。
Because it can't hit me. Its goal is to take Iria back. So for as long as I have her in my arms, it can't aim at my vitals. I'm completely unarmed. This is my sole advantage. I need to put it to good use. Catching my breath, I lower Iria onto the rooftop. I try bashing the bay window open, but it doesn't so much as budge. The glass has a self-repair function, and even if we make it back into the castle's interior, I still have no means of facing off against that 8-armed menace. In which case, our next course of action should be...
そう。
Iria's gaze is fixed on a spire some way in the distance.
飛ぶ気かな。
真下には降りられない。
伝説の二段ジャンプ
The fuck are you talking about, Iria?
一段だ。
届くの？
I can't immediately give her a response. My ex-brain would have answered that question promptly, but
ちょっと待って。今調べる。
Iria touches her conry and multiflicks. With her programming skills, just a conry is enough to produce a rough estimate. As I wait for her to finish her calculations, I look down at our 8-armed assailant. It hasn't been shooting for a while now. Oh? Far below us, the robots guarding the fortress are all standing bolt upright, their rifles in hand. It doesn't seem like they're actually guarding or patrolling at all. Did they deactivate upon their administrator's death? In which case, is the 8-armed thing deactivated too? No, it doesn't add up. Its fighting style pays no mind to collateral damage, which is entirely unlike the way humanoid operating machines work. And it was the one who shot Amachi Juichiro to begin with. That thing isn't a modified humanoid operating machine, but rather... I mean, duh. It clearly looks like the hi-fi that we've been fighting for the past couple of episodes now.
多分、ソウンがいつものスピード出せばギリギリ届く。
よし。
でも、ちょっと待って。あゆかが私にプレゼントを。
I'm guessing Ayuka also dies in this route. God damn it.
そんなこと言ってる余裕は。
The bay window we were hiding near is blasted out from the inside. I guess Olga was the one that ordered this guy to kill off, you know, Juichiro. Multiple sets of arms spring out from within, a surprise attack from a direction I didn't expect. I can't react in time. It grabs me by the legs. I try to elbow its arms to shake it off, but it only catches my hands next. It shouldn't have been able to reach us this quickly, but if I failed to take into account that the castle is made entirely from smart material, it formed the shortest possible route to catch up to us. Unfortunately, analyzing the situation isn't going to help me escape from this thing's clutches. The enemy leans out from the window, grasping each of my limbs. But even so, it has 4 more arms it can use. Letting out a muffled moan, the 8-armed thing lifts 2 of its arms to its chest. The gruesome sound of a decaying flesh being parted reaches my ears. This wasn't a machine. It was a hi-fi living dead. As I reflexively cover my face, 2 muzzles open fire as if to mock me. It simply shoots me in the stomach carelessly, not bothering to aim. 9mm parabolum bullets aren't enough to penetrate my magnetic liquid armor bulletproof vest. But the vest can't block the impact of the shots. 1,000 joules of energy stab into my chest consecutively. With each impact, my body stiffens. I can't breathe. Each shot is like taking a body blow in a boxing match. The unbearable pain gradually starts to show in my face, which is exactly what this 8-armed monstrosity wants. As the will to fight drains from my expression, it pulls a .50 caliber revolver from inside its body and aims it at me. The thing's going to kill me. A high explosive shell shrieks through the air with a roar. I assume that's Iria's. Yup. Iria holds up her Beretta with trembling hands, fixing it against the 8-armed creature. Amachi Juichiro trusted her, and so she wasn't required to give up her weapons. The shot had no effect. All it did was draw its attention. Acknowledging Iria as an enemy, the 8-armed thing tosses me away. I roll down the steep slope of the rooftop. I tumble uncontrollably, my body spinning as it pounds against the smart material. The edge of the rooftop approaches. I stretch out my fingers, but there's nothing for them to latch onto. The surface of the smart material is completely smooth. In that case, I slam my hands against the rooftop right as I'm coming down on it. The recoil kicks me up, and I manage to stop spinning and rise to a prone position. But this doesn't stop my momentum. If anything, it only makes me accelerate. I hear a voice from behind me. Iria is running down toward me, as fast as her legs can carry her. What the hell? This only complicates things further. I'm not in a position to catch her. We're both going to fall off the castle. In which case... I grab Iria's hand. I pull her close as we accelerate further. We run. 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 The bullets pursuing us are meant only as a threat. No one can get in our way. Our sights are set on the spire on the other side. As long as we can jump there, we'll be able to get down to the ground. With Iria's hand gripped firmly in my own, I bend my knees and... we leap into the starry sky. The sound of gunfire is gone. All I can hear is the distant rumbling of the waves. I can smell the sea. I pull Iria's body close to mine. Her long hair draws a gentle arc through the air. It feels as if we are weightless, but only for a split second. Wow, that's loud. Our objective is far in the distance. The ground grows closer little by little. We plummet through the air. I don't mind losing an arm if I have to. I'm safe so long as I keep my head protected. With that resolve in heart, I attempt disarming a security robot. Maybe because Ethica is actually a living dead in this timeline, we can actually save Mitsumi. Because she doesn't mind dying unless... or not dying, but you know... yeah, she doesn't mind losing a limb, as long as it's not her head. Its joints have a large range of motion and plenty of power behind them, but they ain't got nothing on the good old principle of leverage. I bend its elbow joints and pry its rifle out of its hands. No time to rest on my laurels. I spin around and open fire on another security robot. I try to envision actual combat scenarios during my daily training. That's why my motions are so fluid now. But unlike my usual training, I'm not up against a living dead. And the security robot's reactions are slow. Much slower than the living dead's. No, not just slow. Tokitaka murmurs, having successfully disarmed another robot himself. I gotta wonder why they've stopped dead in their tracks like this. But no time to waste figuring that out. I switch the assault rifle I stole to full auto and fire at Olga. The glass pane standing between us is reduced to fragments in the blink of an eye. Olga dodges away with a backflip and retreats to the corner of the room, ever so gracefully. My rifle's out of bullets. I toss it to the side and hurry over to Mitsumi. Mitsumi moans, her body shivering. She's mentally drained, but her life isn't in any immediate danger. He probably realizes there's no point trying to persuade me with logic here. Tokitaka tosses the rifle he stole from the security robot over to me and goes back the way we came. My weapon is an assault rifle, stuffed full of ammo. Olga, by contrast, is armed only with a knife. A thermokarambit capable of burning through human flesh. The same one she used to torture the vice governor. She probably knows that we're a living dead too, right? I mean, I'm not sure, but... I shoot at Olga, but it's no use. She evades my fire with superhuman reflexes. She tilts her head. But I don't have time to worry about what that means. My assault rifle howls again and again. As the bullets pursue her, obliterating the torture implements in their path, Olga flees from the room. The moment I head after her, Olga sticks her head in and laughs in my face.
そんなに怒る？
I reply by opening fire at her again. Olga immediately pulls her head back and retreats. Oh yes, I'm fucking angry, bitch. And I have to show that.
敵は私が取っといてあげる。
I shout. Following Olga, I burst out of the torture chamber.
おらおら、命が惜しかったら隠れてろ。
My rifle howls, sending naked shit stains scurrying back into their cages. Apparently, the sextoids in the other rooms have shut down too. I'm not facing any interference from the security robots either. Something is going down here, that's for sure. Either way, my priority is Iria and Sone. I have to finish up here and regroup with those two ASAP. This is weird. Juichiro shouldn't be dead yet. His brain should still be downstairs, unless because he couldn't get, he couldn't get Hokoyasu's X-brain. He wasn't able to transfer his body to the castle yet. Pursuing Olga, I find myself in the Slave Plaza. It's only partially lit. Directional lighting, I guess you would call it. I shoot at a nearby speaker, which goes out in a shower of sparks. The music dies down at once, and the lights go out. Standing before me is a host of sextoroids and security robots, all frozen in place. The next corridor is a one-way passage. There's a series of indentations along the walls, but they don't go far enough in to actually serve as cover. Running in there would be like asking to get shot. If Olga's anywhere, it's in this room. Stealth segment? But where? Where is she hiding? Every time a face surfaces in the light, I tense up. At a glance, sextoroids are indistinguishable from real human beings. I don't have enough visibility to immediately judge whether or not they're my target. Should I use my X-brain? The old man's face flashes through my mind, and I shake my head. It's his fault I'm like this. Another face appears in the dark. It's similar to Olga's, but the hair color is different. I reflexively fix my aim on it, but then slowly lower the gun. A searing heat runs across my thigh. I immediately hop back and squeeze the trigger of my assault rifle. The muzzle flash flickers through the darkness, illuminating the exploding head of a sextoroid, but my enemy's already gone. Seemingly from nowhere, her burning blade lashes out, slicing across my hand before I even realize it from the trigger. I push Olga away with the gunstock, giving me an opportunity to reassess. I pull the trigger once more, but I'm out of bullets. I discard the rifle and steal a shotgun from a nearby security robot. I was gonna say, there are lots of guns with those robots being immobile. Olga dances into the darkness and steals a machine pistol from another robot. She switches it to full auto and lets loose on me. I squat down behind a sextoroid frozen in an erotic pose, firing back as soon as the opportunity presents itself. Olga zigzags through the mannequins and dives onto the stage, where she snatches a fresh assault rifle from one of the security robots. Bullets zip across the room. Empty cartridges fall to the floor. Sextoroids crumble to bits. Despite the poor visibility, the constant muzzle flashes make it easy to keep a read on my opponent's position. Sextoroids fall over one after another. We steal more guns from the security robots. Ever more cartridges pile up on the floor. I don't need an X-brain. I can handle this just fine. fire at my opponent, evade her shots, steal a new gun, watch for debris from the robots. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Our battle is a symphony of gunfire and destruction, here in this mechanical wonderland of sex and depravity.
The
remains of broken robots litter the area. We face each other, our guns out of ammo. Between us is a security robot that's barely still on its feet. Sitting in the holster hanging from its waist is a single gun. This is where this battle ends. Our reaction speed is equal, so is our agility. Our fingers touch the gun at the same time, but we don't have the same goal in mind. A sharp pain runs through my side. I draw the gun out of its holster, but as I do, Olga's thermokarambit sweeps across my flank, slashing it open. She's got me deep, all the way to my lung. Olga smirks. But I smirk back. Oh, okay, she doesn't know that we're a living dead. Or, she doesn't know that Mitsumin's backing us up. Mitsumin sneaks up from behind, unleashing a devastating blow. Like I said, different goals. I was just acting as a decoy. Mitsumin straddles Olga's body. Not sure when she picked it up, but she's got a shotgun held to her neck. In this position, Olga can't do anything but anything to resist. I'd love to take her alive and beat some information out of her, but... Mitsumin slides the fore end back and loads a shell into the shotgun. Given what Olga put her through, it's not my place to interfere. Necromancers are wanted dead or alive. Trying to capture one alive can be seen as an unnecessary risk. Fire burns in Mitsumin's eyes. Her finger clings to the trigger guard, quivering. I turn my back to Mitsumin. Gotta be something somewhere. I scan the area, looking for a gun that's still usable. There turns out to be a decent selection. I stuff a rifle, a shotgun, and a few machine pistols into my coat. Is she a corpse now? Wowza! Okay. One last gunshot rings out through the slave plaza. Okay, I guess instead of... Why would she be... like sexually assaulting or, you know, sexually abusing, sexually torturing a living dead though? What the fuck? I'm so confused now. We plummet through the air, the ground growing ever closer. The rooftop we were aiming for is out of reach. Falling from this height isn't something we'll walk away from unharmed. But I had to at least save Iria. As we fall, I pull her body close to mine. It's like magic. Oh, she can control the smart material now. A layer of smart material catches us a good distance away from the ground. The makeshift footing shot up perpendicularly from the castle's spire, halting our fall. Are we safe? Gunfire rains down on us from the rooftop's edge, but the floor beneath us juts up, blocking the bullets before they reach us. High-grade material capable of freely changing its form when exposed to electrical signals.
池袋 CPC の地下でサブコンとの話し方を教えてくれたのは彼女。浜辺の風景を手伝ってくれたのも。
The sound of gunfire drowns out Iria's voice. The smart material is working perfectly and keeps us protected. But being constantly shot at isn't a pleasant situation to be in. I have to get Iria to safety as soon as possible.
降りられるか？
もちろん。
I wonder why Azaikyousuke got shot at then. She should be like the most powerful thing in this place. What the fuck? Iria bends her fingers one by one, and flat poles stick out of the spire, as if to imitate her movements. They extend down to the surface, forming a spiral staircase for us.
魔法みたいだな。
奇跡も魔法もあるんだよ。
I don't believe in magic, Iria. I do somewhat believe in miracles, though. Somewhat. The date probably just changed, because I can hear a bell ringing in the castle from the distance.
私シンデレラかも。
よっと。
I pull Iria close to me.
ちょっと。
おしとやかに、お姫様。
You're being a bit cocky, Son. With her body in my arms, I hurry down the staircase. It feels like I really have become Prince Charming. Just as we get off the staircase, the Kolokant approaches us, knocking away the security robots in its path.
かぼちゃ来た。
誰がカボチャだ？
Tokitaka opens the door, frowning. The trunk is stuffed full with the weapons we left behind earlier. And my ex-brain is there as well, of course. It's about time we strike back. Mitsumin's in bad shape, physically and mentally. She stands over Olga's corpse, panting rapidly. Even the blade of her signature katana has been broken in half. Goes to show just how formidable our opponents were this time.
すまない。殺すつもりじゃなかった。
気にすることないって。どうせ極刑の相手だし。
まさか自分で引き金を押し込むとは。
Oh, so that's what happened. I didn't peg Mitsumin as the type to let her emotions get the better of her like that. On the other hand, Olga offing herself makes a lot of sense. She knew that if we took her alive, we'd extract information from her by any means necessary. Namely, torture. It's even possible she would have been subjected to human experimentation to advance research on necromancy. I can see why she'd choose death over that.
牙の腹。
Mitsumin leans against my shoulder, advancing toward the exit with unsteady steps.
いつから気づいていたんだ。
ギリギリ手前かな。
Wait, so at the start, Mitsumin was actually already a corpse?
最後の最後で警備ロボ挟んで向かい合った時さ、ミツミンわざと私に見える位置に立ったでしょ。
Oh, or maybe not.
あれもいつもの深い読み。さすがだよね。
その話ではない。
Mitsumin shakes her head. No dancing around the issue, huh?
お主のことはいつ。
Oh, okay.
ついさっきだよ、さっき。
I can't avoid sounding gruff.
ここに来る前、スーちゃんの店に行って調べてもらった。
そうか。
言っとくけどね、ミツミン。あなたのせいじゃないからね。
So I guess Mitsumi is not the living dead? I'm confused. What was Olga pointing at then?
私が弱かった。ただそれだけ。
しかし、もっと。
だからいいって。それ以上言ったら、私への侮辱とみなすから。
Mitsumin bites her lip. The two of us might be different in terms of personality, but we're alike at our core. If there's one thing that pisses us off, it's when things don't go how they should. Mitsumin tries to suppress her ire. I, on the other hand, don't. Mitsumin's heart is packed full of years worth of bottled up frustration. She's the complete opposite of what I am. Empty,
2年半前もそうだった。もっと私が強ければミルグラムから兄を守れた。私のせいで兄はリビングデッドになった。
I see. Mitsumin's confession makes a whole bunch of things click into place for me. That said, I'm not the one who's gonna comfort her.
なんかさ、イライラすんだよね、みつみんのそういうとこ。
Probably wasn't expecting me to chew her out like that. Mitsumin looks at me with wide eyes, surprise written on her face.
ずっとミルグラムって言って力んでるけどさ、あんたにはそれしかないわけ？そんなくだらない人生でいいの？
くだらないだと？
くだらないね、超くだらない。
She's not wrong.
いくら死んだやつに執着したってさ、生き返りゃしないんだから。
貴様！
ミルグラム倒した後どうすんの？
See? You don't have an answer. I think most people that, want revenge probably don't have anything past it. At the very least, what I think is they probably would just off themselves.
もっとさ、未来のことを考えな。みつみんの人生、まだ長いんだからさ。
I can practically hear what's going through her head right now. Something about never having thought that far ahead. Now I don't feel so bad about giving her a piece of my mind. I have the right to get mad at her.
ほら、外を見なって。世界はこんなにも広くて、危険に満ち溢れてるんだぜ。
Spreading out before us is a theme park awash with gaudy colors, and in its center stands an 8-armed monstrosity. It immediately fixes the firearms gripped in its myriad hands on us. The fact that this guy is still functioning means that he's being controlled by a necromancer. Which means that the necromancer controlling him is not Olga, I assume? Or Olga is still alive. The sound of gunfire echoes through the night sky. My ex-brain promptly analyzes the waveform, determining that at least 8 separate guns were fired at once. The source of the gunshots matches the position of Etika's convoy. If Etika got out there with Mitsumi, I turn to look at Iria. She nods back at me.
大丈夫。車は運転できるし、いざとなったらスマートマテリアルの中に隠れる。記憶が戻ったから、足手まといにはならないよ。
Iria assures me, her face brimming with confidence. I've never seen her quite like this before. She's recovered something very important.
行くぞ、時高!
Damn, I did not expect you to be that gung-ho about this, Son.
近接戦は苦手なんだよな。
Still grumbling, he kicks the Quellicond into gear. Tokitaka specializes in sniping from a distance, where he's safely outside the range of any counterattacks. But the layout of the fortress makes securing a vantage point difficult. And besides, there's no time. Etika and Mitsumi need our assistance now. Even just getting into position for sniping is a time loss we can't afford. The Quellicond speeds toward the castle, knocking over frozen security robots, and narrowly slipping past naked patrons as they flee. As expected, we find the 8-armed monstrosity there, standing imposingly as it fires its guns and continuous volleys. Its muzzles are fixed in a pillar near the front entrance. The incessant gunfire gradually chips away at the smart material. It won't offer meaningful cover for much longer. I catch a glimpse of Etika's bulletproof coat behind a pillar. The mesh jammer is already offline. My ex-brain links up with Tokitaka's to determine the optimal course of action. I don't hesitate. I leap out of the running vehicle, roll along the brickwork, and toss a grenade I prepared ahead of time. As I do that, another grenade is thrown from the driver's seat of the Quellicond. Noticing our presence, the monster swings 4 of its arms back to intercept us, but its aim is suddenly impeded by a curtain of white smoke. Smoke grenades. It won't last long, but this smoke is full of nanochaff particles that throw off any heat and sound detectors, to say nothing for optical information. I think we already saw this before. Yeah. The 8-armed creature squeezes the triggers, but I abide by my experienced instructions and charge forth into the smokescreen. Using optical data analysis and its onboard accelerometer, there we go. My experience generates an image of the surroundings and overlays it on my obscured field of vision. I sprint through the artificial recreation of the scenery, making my way to the pillar where Etika is taking refuge.
長岡すまない特段先行で
I don't think I should cover that because that is just a freaking statue, right? I want to console Mitsumi, to reprimand her, to celebrate the fact that she's safe. There will be plenty of time for all that as long as you can make it out of here alive.
向こうの車まで走れるか。
ああ問題ない
エチカ、ありがとう。
なーにちょろいもんさ。
I hand Etika her full auto shotgun and rabbit punch.
サンキュ
Etika says, beaming. She's finally in her element. I point at her head.
そっちも使えよ。
ーこいつで十分
Etika cocks the shotgun with a smirk. She hates using her X-brain. We don't have time to argue about it though.
煙幕が切れる。急ぐぞ。
I pull my re-eliminators from their holsters and break into a jog, hoping to attract the enemy's attention. Having hurt me, the 8-armed monster bursts out of the smoke and opens fire. Everyone hiding in the smokescreen disperses at once. I roll along the brickwork floor, using the amusement park's facilities as cover as I pull the trigger. It's all or nothing. But for every one bullet I shoot, the enemy fires at least 8. The incessant gunfire continues, the roar of the guns never dying out. I was right earlier. It was trying to avoid hitting Iria, so its attacks weren't nearly as fierce. Now, it has me completely overwhelmed. I'm powerless against it. Etika comes to my aid. She creeps behind the opponent and lets loose with her shotgun. The 8-armed creature doesn't even flinch though. In addition to its eyes, it must have internal sensors as well. It aims 4 arms behind its back without even turning its head. It accurately keeps track of where we are, while firing a continuous barrage of bullets against us both. Etika's shotgun soon runs out of bullets, forcing her to hurriedly take cover behind a carousel, right? If even her shotgun's no good, then Tokitaka fires his Ugasawara TFD-20. The bullet is unleashed at supersonic speed and tears into the 8-armed monster's armor. But the only things that fly into the air are a few pieces of decayed flesh. The monster fixes its rifle on its new target and fires back, seemingly unfazed. Tokitaka quickly takes cover in the flower bed behind him. Had he moved even a second later, his body would have been shot through. I take refuge behind a bus. Soon after, my expert informs me that it's finished analyzing our opponent. It's protected by composite armor. Using a special bacteria, its rotting flesh has been converted into ultra-adhesive matter, which serves to weave together depleted uranium. The sort of armor only a living dead can don. A weapon that applies continuous force, like Etika's chainsaw, might be capable of dealing damage to this armor, but our opponent isn't affording us any opportunities to get in close. If even Tokitaka's anti-material rifle couldn't deal any damage, it means all of our ranged weapons are useless against it. Ooh, sorry about that. My left hand click over it, sorry about that. I can't tell if that's how Etika genuinely feels, or if she's just trying to hide her embarrassment.
ちの弾はあいつを倒せない。手も足も出ないじゃないか。
だったら延々引っ込んでりゃいい。
弾切れか。
I was gonna say, like, how many bullets does that guy have? He's been shooting like non-stop since we first met him. Its armor is thick, but there are openings in the joints. Otherwise, it wouldn't be able to move its limbs. If you can get closer and aim for its joints, you should be able to turn this around. But when it's firing wildly like this, getting in close is a tall order. Hence, the idea is to wait for it to run out of ammo. The logic is sound enough.
それはいつ起こるんだ?
Tokitaka asks with a hint of annoyance. If, like Tokitaka says, it's shooting 10 times the amount of shots per minute we are, it should run out of bullets 10 times faster too. But the barrage isn't stopping. Our 8-armed opponent just keeps shooting. How is it reloading?
魔法でも使ってんじゃねえの?
You are crazy, Etika.
物理法則を超えられるほど科学は発展しちゃいない。
Science stopped advancing 100 years ago. Even living dead need to obey the laws of physics. There must be some kind of trick that keeps it from running out of bullets.
思い出した。あいつ、体の中が武器庫だ。
あ?
体から拳銃を取り出したのを見た。
The two of them fall quiet, trying to process what I've just said. My ex-brain confirms my speculation, based on its analysis of combat footage. That 8-armed thing is replenishing its ammo from inside its body. You don't need internal organs when you're dead. Just a brain is enough. This is why the living dead often have mechanical parts integrated into their bodies. Of course, this is the first time I've heard of anything as utterly absurd as a living dead carrying an entire armory inside its body.
それでどうする?
Neither the Tokitaka or Etika have any good ideas. My ex-brain is silent too. The 8-armed living dead has no gaps in its offense or defense. If we abandon the fight, it's going to kill countless people. There's only one way out of this predicament.
エチカ、僕たちだけじゃ明暗が浮かばない。君の助けが必要だ。
やれやれ。
Does that mean she's gonna don her X-brain? Etika heaves a heavy, resigned sigh. She activates her X-brain and it begins to interface with ours. 3 heads are better than 2, as they say. Each X-brain develops its own unique thought patterns based on its user cranial nerve structure. By cooperating and interacting, they can reach conclusions they were otherwise incapable of coming up with before. A new suggestion pops up.
なるほど。
Coffee? The fuck?
派手な展開になりそうだな。
悪い。俺、読んだよ。
うだうだ言うな。行くぞ。
Abiding by the suggestion, I activate my micro-portable printer. The countdown begins. We emerge from cover in unison. Our X-brains are perfectly synchronized. All 3 of us will work together to defeat this 8-armed monstrosity. What the? This? The battle takes place here. A teacup ride fashioned after the story of Alice in Wonderland. Attractions like this probably operate normally, as a means of putting sextoys on display. Dolls in the form of children surround the ride, standing still as if time itself has frozen. As bullets whiz through the air, the doll's limbs, heads, and other body parts pop off in an almost comical fashion. The teacups are destroyed one after another. I avoid the 8-armed creature's bullets as I run atop the attraction, as per my X-brain's instructions. Etika and Tokitaka do the same. There's just enough cover to avoid taking any fatal wounds, as long as we stay alert. There's a limit to how much we can dodge given the sheer number of muzzles fixed on us, but splitting the enemy's attention decreases the threat level. With help from our X-brains, we successfully lure the opponent to the center of the attraction, exactly where we wanted.
行くぞ。目回すなよ。
Music begins to play as the attraction's motor roars to life. The teacup starts spinning. Tokitaka immediately lets out a moan, but he'll just have to deal with it. The living dead feel no emotions. They don't get sick to their stomach, nor do they get dizzy or disoriented. but that also means they're slow to react to spontaneous developments. They can obey simple orders, but they struggle to react to irregular movements, like the way the teacups are moving right now. The 8-armed creature's accuracy was lacking to begin with, but now it's even worse. I obey my X-Brain's instructions and maneuver through the rain of bullets, hiding behind the teacups as necessary. We keep it locked in the center while maintaining a safe distance from it. We spin, and spin, and spin. Shells bounce, the scenery blazes past. We don't give our opponent a chance to rest. Our opponent is adept at making use of its 8 arms in tandem. It changes cartridges swiftly and smoothly. Its field of vision extends in every direction, and it can respond to attacks from any angle by simply pivoting its arms. But there's one fatal flaw. The 8-arm monster only has one head. It has multiple sensors, yes, but this doesn't mean the speed and precision of its information processing are any greater. Its aim becomes much less precise when it has to attack multiple targets. All it can do is mechanically pursue anything it sees moving. And therein lies our chance to win. The gunfire continues unabated. It smashes through the cups, gradually leaving us with fewer and fewer spots to take cover behind. Empty magazines pile up around it, extending outward thanks to centrifugal force. If we're not careful, we could easily slip on one. But we remain calm and collected. We swiftly and accurately execute our X-Brain's instructions. Information travels between our conduits without the slightest lag. Come to think of it, I always operate separately from Ethica. And Tokitaka's generally tasked with sniping from a distance, so I'm rarely ever even close to him physically. Yeah, I was gonna say, this is actually a pretty interesting, scene, because everyone is cooperating to defeat the same opponent in close quarters. This could very well be the first time the 3 of us are fighting together like this. If either of them mess up, I'll cover for them. And if I mess up, they'll cover for me. I feel a sense of reassurance that I've never experienced when fighting alone. The 8-armed monsters stop shooting just as the micro-portable printer finishes its second countdown. The Hi-Fi discards its now useless firearms. It's completely empty-handed. Even so, our weapons still can't do anything to penetrate its composite armor.
目回してんじゃねえぞ時高。
うるさい。ゲロぶっかけるぞ。
The two of them charge the 8-armed creature from 2 directions, quibbling with each other all the while. Ethica has a rabbit punch in hand, and Tokitaka has the Ugasawara TFD-20. They swing downward at the same time from both directions. 2 arms fly through the air, but Tokitaka and Ethica don't stop there. The chainsaw howls, using centrifugal force to send arms flying through the air. Meanwhile, the anti-material rifle fires at 0 range, blowing off even more of the opponent's arms. 8 arms become 7, then 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. By the time the teacups stop, all that remains in the center is a useless hunk of flesh that can barely stay on its feet. Which means it's my turn. I drive the newly printed ammunition directly into my gun's chamber, and then the other. I hold up both re-eliminators. Even without its arms, the Hi-Fi remains just as belligerent. It uses the last of its strength to try and ram me, but my X-Brain remains calm. I push my way through the remains of the teacups and slide toward my opponent. I thrust my re-eliminators into the suggested point. I fire at closer than point-blank range directly into its joint. The bullets I'm using are ultra small, high explosive shells. The opponent's composite armor might deflect bullets coming from outside, but there's nothing it can do against pressure coming from inside. Yeah, I assume there's a typo there. With a muffled explosion, the Hi-Fi Living Dead's body bursts from the inside out. Someone always takes the best thing, man, you know. Our hectic dance with the 8-armed monster comes to an end. Upon returning to the now stationary floor, we're greeted by... Where's Mitsumi, by the way? The sound of Tokitaka throwing up profusely. His semicircular canals done in by the experience.
おいおい、コーヒーカップに隠された数学的美とかを解説してくれんじゃねえのか？
もちろん、コーヒーカップが描く複雑回帰なサイクロイド曲線。
Guess mathematical beauty is powerless before the might of nausea.
おい、大丈夫か?
Someone rubs Tokitaka's back. Ah, friendship. I switch off my X-Brain and head to the Colacont, parked beside the building. I can't believe my eyes.
どうした?
いない。イリアちゃんも、ミツミも。
I was gonna say, where the heck is Mitsumi? I don't know about Iria, but Mitsumi was not there at all. What the hell is going on here? Why did they just disappear? I check every last nook and cranny of the car, but there's no sign of them. There's an obvious answer. But fuck! Occam's razor? That's an idiom I don't know about. There must be some other explanation. Anything. Just think, Etika. Think. God damn it! I just keep coming to the same conclusion.
探すぞ、エチカ。
ああ、わかってる。
He's right. Enough escapism. Can always count on the old X-Brain, I guess. It suggests the optimal method of searching. Soon, Tokitaka and I split up and begin scanning through the fortress. Act first, think later. That's how Kibanohara Ethica operates. Always has been. But here I am, hesitating. All I have to do is act the way I always do. It shouldn't be that hard. It really shouldn't be. But it is. Oh, for fuck's sake. Quit it with the goddamn internal pow-pow. What the hell? Powwow. I'm Kibanohara Ethica. No deliberation. Just action. Right? Right? A notice from my X-Brain puts an end to my identity crisis. Someone has just found Iria. Alright, I think I can do one more scene here. What the hell? See, I knew it. Olga's still alive, but how? Let's think about this. Deduction and reasoning. The two most valuable tools in my arsenal. My X-Brain presents a possibility. Gijo Mitsumi has betrayed us. Mitsumi is a rival to the Karasuzumi Living Dead Stalker Agency. She only cooperated with us because we shared a common goal of defeating Milgram. If handing Iria over would enable her to approach Milgram, there's a possibility Mitsumi would do just that. No, I knew it. Mitsumi is a living dead now, isn't she? Made by Olga. According to my X-Brain anyway. It's certainly a plausible scenario. And up until now, I would have abided by the suggestion. I would not have even thought of questioning it. Input to output like always. But now I'm different. Maybe trying to become a machine was futile all along. I want to believe in the handshake Mitsumi and I exchanged. I want to believe in her. That resolve propels me through the silent fortress. The harbor is where I find Iria.
動くな。
I knew it. Mitsumi holds Soshimaru's broken blade against Iria's neck.
どうしたんだ? 何があったのか? 僕に話を.
黙れ、貴様の言うことは何一つ信じぬ。武器を捨て、船に乗れ。さもなくばこやつの首をかっきる。
三つみ、
ダメ、ソウン。これは罠なの。三つみがおかしくなって、だから。
うるさい。
Mitsumi wrings Iria's hand.
やめろ三つみ。
Ethica rushes in from another direction and takes aim at Mitsumi.
あんたが裏切るなら私たちだって容赦しない。
違う。
I stand between the two of them.
三つみは操られているだけだ。
ふざけるな。操られている。私をたぶらかすのもいい加減にしろ。
I put my re-eliminators down on the ground and approach her step by step.
僕を信じてくれ。
来るな。
三つみ、僕は君を。
やかましい。
Soshimaru's broken blade flashes through the air, coming directly from my X-brain from above. I don't move an inch. Her downward slash comes crashing down. I can almost feel it crack through my X-brain and pierce my skull. But it does not.
長岡。
Her blade stops inches away from my forehead. Mitsumi draws back. My X-brain can no longer offer support. I take it off and place it on the ground. My hair whips in a cool sea breeze. Mitsumi is directly in front of me. Nothing stands between us. I can see her torment, her fear, her confusion.
僕は君を信じる。
Nothing suggested that I say this.
くそ。
I can sense Mitsumi's anguish. Her eyes dart back and forth, seeking the truth. I keep my gaze fixed on her. You can trust me, Mitsumi.
お主は長岡。本当に長岡なのか。そんなはずは。
What is going on? She releases Iria. I run over to Mitsumi's side and take her hand.
三つみ、わかるか。
なあ、お主が本物。
Does she look me like a... I guess she's not a, you know, she's not a, what do you call it? She's not a living dead? I guess Olga did something to her brain that makes us look like Milgram or something.
あ、そうだ。
Mitsumi grabs Soshimaru, raises it overhead, and thrusts it into her shoulder. Blood stains her white combat suit. Pain distorts her face. But no longer are her eyes clouded.
そうか。そうだったのか。すまない、長岡。どうやら私は幻を見せられていたようだ。
She used the pain to forcibly dispel the illusion. It's like I thought. Mitsumi is a woman worthy of my trust.
もうその技は効かん。貴様の言いなりにはならんぞ。
かかりが浅かったかしら。
A figure descends from the rooftop of a former attraction.
ロールシャッハー、てめえ生きてたのか。
So this is the member of the suicide wannabes they fought with inside the castle.
私が殺したと思ったのはあやつの幻覚か。
Did both of them get hit by the illusion? But how? She didn't do anything to Ethica. Olga produces a karambit knife out of nowhere.
今度こそ 私のものにしてあげる。
The red-hot blade burns a curved pattern into the night sky.
返り討ちにしてやら
Ethica blocks the karambit knife with her chainsaw. Rigid force versus pliable technique. Sparks fly as rabbit punch clashes with the karambit knife. I pick up my re-eliminators intending to join in. A glimmering wire flies in, coiling around Iria and lifting her small body into the air. Iria is reeled in like a fish, speeding toward the boat's deck. She's being pulled in by a giant of a man. It looks like the wires coming from his arms. The shrill sound of a steam whistle pierces through the dock. That boat was no tourist attraction. Its optical camouflage lifts, revealing its true form. A military vessel. No time to pick up my X-Brain. The boat is pulling out of the harbor. I make a mad dash for the dock. I'm the only one who can help Iria right now. I leap from the dock, landing on the ship's deck.
Nagaoka Soun. Takeyuki no musuko desu ne.
The man's polite tone belies his hulking appearance. Iria is still wrapped in his wire. So what if he knows my father? The boat is drifting away from the harbor by the second. There's no time. I came here for one thing, and one thing only.
今すぐイリアを離せ。
できない相談だな。
Something is thrust against my neck from behind. I wheel around, bashing Milgram in the shoulder with a re-eliminator. I thrust the one in my left and toward his chest and then... Don't pull the trigger. I can't. I realize as my vision begins to distort. Milgram holds out a pistol-type needless syringe.
それで私を殺せるとでも。
My re-eliminators fall to the deck. My fingers, my arms, everything goes numb. If I can't kill Milgram, then at the very least, I have to save Iria. I try to run to her, but my legs feel as heavy as lead. I sway back and forth, as if the deck I'm standing on is being rocked by a storm. The world fades. Everything's going dark. I reach out my unsteady hands, but to no avail. My legs collapse under me. The world spins. The last thing I see before I hit the floor is the sight of Mitsumi driving her blade into Ethica. What the fuck? Alright, I gotta end the episode right here though. Oh my goodness. I mean, I'm not gonna stop the recording after this. I'm still gonna be like, at least doing 2 more episodes, but yeah. I really hate this game for doing that, you know. I was gonna stop after the fight with the 8-armed, like, hi-fi was done, but I was gonna do like a bit more. But man, this game really sucks at the action segments. They really wanted to just go continue on again and again and again. But I gotta eat some dinner after this. I got food from my dad and he's waiting downstairs actually. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Give this video a like if you guys like it. Sub if you guys haven't. Patreon will be getting these episodes early access. There's also still no H scene surprisingly on this episode. I guess if it's gonna be like the last route we did, it's going to be only at the very end that there's going to be an H scene. But yeah, with that, I'm gonna be back shortly, at least for people on Patreon. And I will see you guys on the next episode.